Basketball is back, and BetOnline remains your #1 source for all your sports betting needs this season. You'll always find the latest odds, team matchup info, player news, and game trends at BetOnline. And as your continued source for all sports wager information, BetOnline features live betting, free contests, and giveaways all season long. Always the fastest and easiest way to bet all your favorite sports and events, whether that's NFL, NBA, NHL, MMA, tennis, boxing, or even golf. Head to betonline.ag to join and receive your 50% welcome bonus with your first deposit. Make sure to use promo code BLEAV, that's BLEAV, to receive your rewards. It's BetOnline, where the game starts. Tell them the Noisemaker sent you.
Popcorn World. Popcorn World.
Can I make you move now? Yes, I can. So you can get this move in the back of a can. You can make it round the world when it holds in your hand. Popcorn World. 250 flavors gonna make you smile. 250 flavors gonna make you smile. 250 flavors gonna make you smile. That's that popcorn make you smile. Ah. Popcorn World. Popcorn World. Popcorn World. It's a popcorn world. It's a popcorn world.
On behalf of everyone here at Noise Media and Entertainment and our podcast, BLEAV in the ACC, we want to send all of our thoughts and prayers to the families of Devin Chandler, Lavelle Davis, and Deshaun Perry. We also want to send our thoughts and prayers to the families of Christopher Darnell Jones. We know that though he is the shooter, his family is probably reeling right now at the thoughts that their son is the one that did this. And then finally, we want to send our thoughts to the campus and the teammates of these great players that played on the University of Virginia's football team, as well as their family and friends on campus. We understand that the entire ACC is reeling behind this, and we send our love and solidarity with them, and we stand Virginia strong with all of you.
You're now listening to BLEAV in the ACC with Heisman Trophy winner and Florida State legend, Mr. Charlie Ward, Wave 3 TV, and Burn Big Hall of Famer Kendrick Haskins, and Mr. Talking Noise himself, and of course Mama Noise's man, Lloyd Smith. And now, it's time for BLEAV in the ACC.
Hey everybody, we are here this morning. It's Kendrick Haskins. There he is. It's Charlie Ward. Yep. There he is. Here we are. BLEAV in the ACC, guys. It's good to see you on this cold. I don't know how it is on the East Coast where you guys are, but here in the great state of Arkansas, it is freezing cold. So
it's freezing here.
Is it freezing there? Now watch this. Charlie, how's it feel there?
It's freezing here too. Maybe not as cold. Maybe not as cold as it is where you guys are, but it's cold.
It's cold. Wow.
The cold is probably like 65 degrees.
No, it's 50 something.
See.
Well, but for Florida, that's probably pretty cold. So I don't know. And also, I want to welcome a new audience. We have a new audience. We are now broadcasting to LinkedIn. So, hello, LinkedIn audience. It's good to see you all. Welcome to Believe in the ACC. So there you go.
Okay. Big time LinkedIn.
I mean, listen, we stretching, man. We stretching out here. The professionals are watching us.
Yeah. Yeah.
That
Um,
means we need to tighten up our
no, we're gonna keep
our
it the same, Charlie. We're not
uh,
gonna. We gotta be who we are. Professionals like to laugh too, so there you go.
Right.
They like
Let's
to
still
laugh.
get you going on Slovis.
Right. So listen, we want to get into our previews, all of that that we have prepared today. We got some our previews for men's and women basketball. We also are going to be on vacation for the first time. We're going to take an actual vacation with this show. I didn't realize until my wife and I were talking about it 2 weeks ago. She said, we've never actually taken a vacation. Like, yeah, we've taken some days off. She said, no, a real one. Like, we don't have any shows. I said, wow, I guess we haven't. So we won't be on all next week. So there you go. So next time you see us, it'll be like December something, and all stuff will be settled. And so we'll get into that and talk about the games and our final predictions of the year. So that'll be fun. But before we get into that, just briefly, we wanted to just touch the tragedy that took place in Virginia. There is still a lot to be uncovered. So I don't know, honestly, how much today we want to get into, as much as just understanding that I think there are a lot of moving parts with this. Initially, I'll be honest, my initial reaction, as we all talked in the group chat, I went down the road of, hey, this is the tragedy and the violence of guns and blah, 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 all the rhetoric that we normally get upset about. But as details start to unfold, you go, oh man, this doesn't sound like it's going to be good at all. Like when the real, or when the other side of the story starts to unfold, because witnesses are starting to kind of come forward and say different things, and you're going, ooh, that makes you a little uncomfortable. So I don't know where this is going, but regardless of where it's going, in my opinion, it's a tragedy. It's horrible on every level, and I just, again, like we did with the intro, our thoughts and prayers are with all of the people, the state of Virginia, the campus of Virginia, and more specifically, that football team. But I do want to get into I want to hear your thoughts about that, but also a very specific question. Do you think that they should, because I think there's been some discussion about canceling the entire season. And so I'm curious to know what you guys think about that part of it, finishing out the last, not playing the last two games. I know they're not going to play this weekend, but maybe not even next weekend. So what are your thoughts on that?
I mean, I wouldn't be surprised if it happened. So it's not like it would be a big shocker, just because of the nature of what's taking place. And I can only imagine what mental state the players are in. There's three of their players and a guy who's a walk-on, I do believe, that's all involved in this. And so I can only imagine kind of what mental state they're in to be able to even function at all. And so to play football or practice, sometimes that's a way to get your mind off of it. But when you're going to where three of your brothers who would be on the field, I can only imagine that being tough, a tough environment. So I wouldn't be shocked if they didn't play their last game or last two games. Well, they're definitely not playing this week, but next week either.
Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised. I kind of feel like it's something that should be left up to the players. If they feel like, they can go because it is their escape, if sports is an escape for so many athletes, if they feel like it's their escape and they kind of need it, then I can see them playing. But I don't blame them either way. If they want to sit out the rest of the season, I totally understand that. If they want to go ahead and play, I can see both sides of that. I think the players should at least have input on it, if not make the decision themselves.
I think that's actually a great way to say it, and even to that same statement, Kendrick and Charlie. I don't know if you split it up. I don't know. I don't know how you do that. I think it's probably something you do collectively and just decide and vote and say, you know, do we want to do this? Do we want to honor our guys by playing, or is it just the grief is so overwhelming? I think as a country and as fans, we have to be okay with whatever the decision is. What was really disturbing is watching some of the Twitter feeds of fans saying, "But you're robbing the seniors of the senior day this weekend," and maybe they want to honor their player. You know, you're taking it out of their hands. Maybe they want to honor their teammates by playing and giving the fans something else to think about besides that. And in my humble opinion, I'd like to be clear that I don't think the fans have any say so in this at all. They should be thought about in this at all. It has nothing to do with us.
No, I totally agree. The fans, we love the fans, but no, the fans shouldn't have any input in this. This is strictly up to the players and the staff of that team.
So there you go. So it'll be interesting to see what they do. I hope they honestly just do what's best for the mental health of these players and coaches. That's the most important thing. So that for now, that's all we really. I think unless you guys have anything else you want to add to that, I don't know if there's a whole lot more to add until more of the facts come out. Just from a journalistic perspective, they did have a preliminary hearing yesterday where Christopher Darnell Jones was denied bond, and he will not be released under any circumstances right now. Probably just he'll spend his entirety of this, in jail, just trying, as the trial comes or whatever. But that's where we are today. Like I said, more facts are starting to come out, but right now, I personally don't feel comfortable with those facts. So until we get more facts on top of those facts, then we can talk about it from an intelligent perspective. But that's what we've decided to do. So hopefully, guys, we're okay with that. We're all okay with that. So all right. So let's get into some fun stuff. This was before we get to the football stuff, because this was a very interesting weekend in football. But let's get into some of the basketball stuff. And I just want to talk about it from the men's side and the women's side, if you guys are okay with that.
What other side? What other side is it?
There are no other sides, Charlie.
Oh, okay.
Charlie, you're in rare form already. You're coming in hot. Okay.
Just curious.
All right. Well, you didn't have to do that. That was good, actually. That was really good. I didn't see that coming. Okay. What I meant by that, Charlie, with the men's side and the women's side, is just that we don't know. Most shows don't do both sides. So we are a show that does both sides. We're talking about the men and the women's side. So I'm going to go back and forth with our questioning so that everybody understands we're talking men's side and women's side. It was called a teaser, Charlie. Okay. All right. So here we are. On the men's side, who would you say are the teams to watch? Like, who do you think is the teams that have the best shot to win the ACC and possibly go beyond?
On the women's side?
On the men's side. See? On the men's side. We'll get to the women's side.
I would say the UNC, just because of their experience and their youth with the mix they have, and they're both talented with the guys they brought back and with some of the guys that they brought in. Now, the telltale will be, can those young players handle, the expectation? Most times when you have veterans coming back, you don't need to have the young players, step up in a huge role. You just need them to be serviceable. And if you have one or maybe two that can get the job done in a certain role, then you'll be okay. So I would say UNC. Of course, Duke will be there. I think they got beat the other night
They did.
by Michigan State
Kansas.
or
Kansas.
Kansas.
Yeah, Kansas,
Yeah.
right. The other team in
And
blue got beat by Michigan State.
oh yeah, Kentucky.
Yeah.
So so I mean, I'm looking at those two teams as like your top tier, and of course, everyone's talking about Miami being a sleeper in a sense or second tier. Virginia Tech, got a chance to watch them a little bit the other night, being in that mix, some of their veteran players that they brought back. But then I don't know about the rest of the group.
Yeah. No, listen. I think you said it eloquently. It's Duke, North Carolina, Virginia Tech, possibly Miami, and other.
Yeah.
Like
I
I
left out
Throw them in a
Virginia.
bag like last
Yeah,
year.
it's just other. It's like that old game where Bob Barker used to put the little chips in the bag and you just I don't know, pick one out and let's see what happens. So
Yeah.
I will say this. You know, I know we got a lot of Louisville ties on this show. Louisville's ranked preseason 12th. Right now, that seems really high. Because they are trying to figure it out if ever they were. Now, I think at some point they will, but boy, that 12 seems really high right now. Yeah, one thing that's interesting, I guess this is across the board with college basketball, and I don't know if this is, you guys tell me what you think about this. Does it feel like all the way across the board in college basketball, there's this ramp up every year now? Like teams who you think are going to be great coming out the gate, they're not. They're okay. Like North Carolina's okay. They're good. I'm sure by the end of the season they're going to be great, but right now they're okay. And everybody's just okay. Like Duke's okay, and you know Kentucky's okay. Then you know you can go down the line across the country, but it seemed like back in the day teams came out the gate strong, whereas that doesn't feel that way this year. I don't know, or doesn't feel that way now anyway. I don't know. Kendrick, what do you think?
From what I've seen, like nobody's really stood out. It's still really early. It seems like I could be wrong, but it seems like back in the day maybe they played more, tune-up games before they played these big big showcase games like
Right.
Tuesday, and so I think that could be part of it. I was impressed by Kansas. That Dick kid is really good.
He's pretty good at the basketball. Yeah.
He is really good.
Yeah.
I was impressed with Michigan State on the fact that how hard they play. I mean, this classic Izzo team.
Oh yeah.
Like I mean, and like because I got friends that are big Kentucky fans, and I'm like, Michigan State that early in the season is going to be difficult for anybody just because of the way they play. And so I was impressed by them. Duke, I was kind of
all right.
So,
I mean,
but yeah, I mean, I think, but I said I think a lot. Back in the day, it seems like these showcase games didn't come on until a little bit later, or maybe they played more of these tune-up games before they had these big showcase games.
Yeah, that's a great point.
I agree.
What about on the women's side, gentlemen? Is it the Louisville women and North Carolina State and again other, or are there some teams that you are looking at going, hey, they might be able to slide in there and do some things?
Carolina may be able to cause some problems. I mean, they knocked off Louisville last year. They were a young team last year. I think they got most of their team back this season. I think Carolina could give some people some problems. Maybe Virginia Tech.
I was gonna say Virginia Tech is getting a lot of love in the preseason, and I haven't had a chance to see them play yet, but they're definitely getting a lot of love. Yeah. What about your Seminoles?
All I can say
our homie.
My Seminoles are 4-0. Coach Brooke team is 4-0.
Tell her don't forget about my jersey. I need my jersey.
Okay. and they beat the Gators last night. So
Oh, okay.
got to be coming back up again. Um, but I mean, she right now they only have 9 players, like literally 5 on the
Did you
floor.
say 9?
Yes, 9. I went to watch them play the other day, and
Wow.
there's 4 ladies sitting on the bench, like in uniform, um, and 5 out there, hooping. So they literally have 9 players,
Oh, wow.
and so it's going to be predicated upon injuries and staying healthy on how well they do.
Is that because of the lateness of the hire or like
Um, well, I'm not 100% sure. I know they had some young ladies, maybe a young lady who got hurt from who's supposed to be here. Then
got
they
you?
had some transfer, some seniors, and I don't think she renewed all of the contracts because they had like 14, 15 contracts, 15 scholarships last year. And but she likes her 9, I guess.
Wow. Talk about sending a message.
Yeah.
They
I
can't
mean, one of
complain
those
about
players,
playing time.
Morgan
Yeah.
Jones is in Louisville now, and so yeah.
Well, I tell you what, you're right, Charlie. One thing they'll not be able to complain about with that 9, man, I'm not getting enough playing time. Get all
Yes.
they can stand. Speaking of that, who is the best player on the men's side in the ACC?
Bankero.
He's gone.
He's gone.
He's gone. That's funny. Charlie, you're on a roll today. You're on a roll today. I see what's happening here. So is that your wonderful, clever way of saying it's wide open? Like it's
I mean, I guess Baycott by default.
Baycott, yeah, right now, because he's the
Quit
most
flopping at
seasoned.
7 foot 300 pounds.
yeah. I don't necessarily fall in love with any of them. I do like Isaiah Wong. I've always liked Isaiah Wong, but he's wildly inconsistent for me. Like I just, God,
Yes,
you
he
don't know
is.
what I'm gonna give for that kid. I keep waiting for this breakout. Like, okay, he's finally got it. Here it comes. He's ready, and I don't know, man. He's like a 1975 Dodge Charger. He's in cold weather. Like if you can get it to go, it's going to be a really fun ride. But boy, getting it in cold weather, it's not great. Anybody that you think is going to surprise us, like a Derek Lively or Terquavian Smith, any of those guys? You're like, okay.
I like what I see from Lively. I think as the season goes on, you're going to see a whole lot more from him.
Yeah.
He didn't start the other night. I think eventually he'll start. So I do like what I see from him.
I think. Go ahead.
Get back to the best player. I mean, Caleb Love is probably going to make a case too.
He'll be the most solid and the most polished.
Right.
Yeah.
I mean, he's inconsistent too, but maybe
he's very
he can. I think he can make the case to be the best player in the conference.
The leading scorer though will be L. Ellis by a mile.
It's going to have to be.
Right. By a mile, by a country mile.
Somebody has to be the lead scorer.
Somebody's got to score the points.
Yeah, you know, L. Ellis is their Bubba right now. So there you go. All right, what about on the women's side? Who's the one that we're going to be talking about as the year continues to unfold?
Well, definitely Haley Van Lith, Morgan Jones. Both of them are going to be up there. I went to their game, one of their games last week. They played like 3 games in 6 days or something crazy like that.
That is crazy,
yeah. And so they've got more size than they usually do. But those two, I mean, they of course they stand out. And then they got this transfer from Syracuse, Clarissa Jones. I want to make sure I said her name right. She's played very well in these first couple of games, and she's the starting point guard this year. Chrislyn Carr, that's her name. She's the starting point guard. She's Syracuse transfer, and she's played really well in these first couple of games. And because they had a tough one at Belmont on Sunday. Credit to Jeff Walls because he'll go and play these games games in Nashville, and a lot of teams don't go on the road and play true road games in the non-conference, and Jeff will. So they went out and they had a battle and they pulled it out, and Chris McCarr was huge in that game.
Jeff's not afraid to go. I like that about Jeff. He's got a lot of Geno in him in that regard. Like, I'll go play. I don't care. And I know I'm the draw, and I know that that's going to probably help your team make some money. So you're welcome. That's kind of
it's like Geno is trying to build the sport. That's what they're doing.
Yeah, he's trying to build a sport. He gets the whole thing. So that. What about anybody impressed with Elizabeth Kitley from Virginia Tech? She got most of the preseason first player of the year votes. I think she averaged like 18 points game last year, 9 rebounds, something like that. And she's a very impressive player. Can shoot that thing. She can shoot that thing. So
yeah, she had a big game against Louisville last year. They're tough at home. They're extremely tough at home.
Yeah.
If they can get it together a little bit more consistently on the road, they're going to be right there. But they're super tough at home.
The one thing about Kitley for them, and Charlie, I'd love to hear your thoughts about this because I'm sure you've either played against teams or you may have been on a team like this. When a team is so one player dominant like that, that is a tricky formula for success. Because
easy for you to say.
I know it's a tricky statement to make. But it's a tricky formula for success because you have to have those points from that player. You have to have that player be good night in and night out. And if they're not, because they're going to be keyed in on. I mean, that's every game. But some players are just dominant and they can overcome it, which I think Kitley can. But still, it's not a great formula for the totality. Yeah.
Well, it's definitely it's tough when you have just one player, but you have to have multiple players be able to take on some of the load because that one player can't play the whole game at a high pace efficiently over the course of whatever the season is, because they're going to have some off nights or because other teams are keying on them. And so it'll be beneficial long term to be able to develop other players and give them certain roles so that you don't have to depend on just one person the entire time. You want that person to be able to put on their cape when you need it, not all the time. And so that's something that I think any team with aspirations of having a successful season in a tough league will need.
Yeah.
There's a young lady here at Florida State. She's a freshman. Lanaya Latson is her name, I think. And she's averaging like 31 points a game. And she is a true freshman.
I think I remember Coach Brooke talking about her, how excited she was about her.
She's
Bubba.
She is very athletic, can shoot it, can handle it. Of course, she's still young, so some of the decisions she's still working that part out. But
right,
I mean, I love just watching her play because she has control of her body. You know, it's one thing when you're wild and just all over the place, but she has great control of her body. She used both hands really, really well. And that's stuff that you normally don't see from a young freshman. But she's a guard and she's getting it done right now. She had 32 last night.
She had 32? Oh my.
Yeah.
So she can shoot that thing as well.
Yeah.
Just real quick, I know you mentioned getting that help. I think one of the reasons why everybody's so excited about Virginia Tech is that they got two, I think freshmen. I think they're both freshmen. Ashley Owusu and Taylor Sole, I think is her last name. But they're both really, really solid players coming in. So I think that one of the consistent themes across the board for all the ACC teams is that they're all leaning heavily on their newcomers and transfers. Maybe more so than some teams across the country, because I think Louisville is counting on those transfers to kind of push them over the top. Same thing with Virginia Tech. Same thing with some of the other teams. So it'll be interesting to see how much of an impact the newcomers as well as the transfers will make on those teams. But I gotta ask this question now: who's the coach you trust most on the men's side? I struggle with this. I struggle with this question. I'll be honest with you, because my initial was like, "Oh, that's an easy one. It's got to be Tony Bennett, right? Because he's done it. Boeheim's done it, but Hubert Davis did it in his first year."
I was going to say, I guess it comes down to Bennett and Davis for me.
Right, right. Well, but see, we say that every year, and then
Syracuse
by the end
lost
of the
at
year,
home to Colgate.
exactly. Syracuse is like, we're still here, guys. The 2-3 still works.
They lost at home to Colgate.
They did, but again,
they're struggling right now.
But that's a Syracuse thing to do.
I trust Coach Ham. Coach Ham
will figure it out. They'll figure it out.
They just got a lot of injuries right now.
Yeah, they gotta get healthy. Yeah.
Don't get me started.
But we want to. We want to get you started, Coach.
Like my goal. I got on the show as my goal.
If it was my team, and I had the same issue this summer because Anthony wasn't playing, and we were playing games, and we weren't winning them. I mean, there were solid teams that we were playing against, and the excuse was Anthony's not here, and I kept trying to fight that excuse because we had other guys having opportunities to step up and play and take on a bigger role, and we just weren't getting it done.
Yeah.
And so I had this conversation the other night with one of the coaches at FSU, and they were talking about injuries. And I sat there and watched them play Troy, and Troy played like seven or eight guys. They didn't play very many guys either. But the ones that they played, them guys got the job done down the stretch. I mean, them guys were stepping back, hitting threes. They were moving out the ball, back cutting, doing necessary things to win the game and getting hands on basketball and passing lanes. And down the stretch, it was a close game. And then they just pulled it out because they played harder, they defended, and they made shots. And so if it's injuries, the guys that are injured, I don't know, maybe it's the bodies or what have you, but I'm like, the guys that's on the floor got to step up and make plays, whether it's offense or defensively right now. And right now, that's not getting done. Like, the guys they have out there aren't getting that done. So yes, there are injuries. However, the guys that are on the floor need to play better.
Charlie coming in hot with the no excuses. I like it. I agree. I mean, listen, you play with what's on the court, and we can't be talking about who ain't here. They're not here because they're not here. So what are you supposed to do? Not take the L, concede the L before you start the game? No, you play with what's there. So
at least they have an injury excuse.
Well, right. Some teams do not. You're right. Some teams do not. What about on the women's side? Who you trust the most? Is it Jeff and other?
Jeff and NC State's coach.
Yeah.
I mean, they've done it. I mean, you got to trust Jeff. I mean, he's been in, 5 Final Fours.
He's done well. You know, which is interesting because they keep asking him, and I get the question, but when are you going to break through? He's like, I don't know. Who knows? Who knows when you're going to break through? What kind of question is that? Like, I don't know. I never understood that question. When are you going to break through to the other side? Next week. I don't know. I don't know.
It's
a weird question.
I mean, it's the natural question when somebody keeps getting there. I mean, that's just like Marv Levy. How many times they asked him when's he gonna win the Super Bowl? I mean,
right? He's like
the same thing. Keep getting there, but the thing is, you have to get there, and he's getting there. And it's not like he's getting upset in the Final Four. Every year he gets to the Final Four and loses, he loses to the national champion. So
right, but I think what I hate about the question that is it invalidates what was not. I don't even know if it's arguable at this point. Who it invalidates a Hall of Fame coach's career? I guess this guy is doing stuff with a team that, by the way, wasn't even sniffing tournaments, let alone Final Fours prior to his arrival, and now they're a juggernaut in women's. They're one of the staples of women's college basketball. So I think he's having some measure of success. I think we gotta back off of the when are you gonna win thing. That's a weird.
He'll be fine. I think the best thing to happen to this year is being able to move Olivia Cochran over to the 4 instead of the 5.
Yeah, that's gonna be big.
Yeah, I mean she held her own in the Final Four game last year against South
Carolina.
She's
fantastic.
She held her own, and I think you can tell she gained a lot of confidence from that game, and then moving her over to the 4, because like a lot of people forget her and Haley came in the same class,
right?
And they have a really good relationship with each other, and so her moving to the 4, and then Haley not having to be the playmaker it's going to be huge for them this season.
Charlie, talk about how important it is, because you mentioned this a little bit. You know, guys, people stepping up and stepping in the roles and then accepting those roles and embracing it. Talk about how important it is, that experience that you had the year before you won the state championship. How did that kind of set the tone for the year that you won the state championship? And how, because Louisville was kind of going through that with Haley. You know, they got close. They got beat by a legitimate, better team in South Carolina. I'm not sure anybody was going to beat them at all, and they didn't, obviously. But how important was the experience itself?
Well, it was a progression. The year before we won the state championship last year, we had a successful season. Like we were 19-1 going into the playoffs, and we ended up losing in the first round. And that team was talented, but we lost to a team that wanted it more, executed at a high level, played harder, and we didn't respond well to that. And so from that, we made an adjustment to our process of competition in the off season. Competition during the season, how we scheduled was very, very important. And the key wasn't so much the losing, it was the experience and getting that experience. So we were on the road for like a month where we knew at some point possibly we would have to play on the road in a hostile environment and win that game. And so all those experiences that we had on the road during the month of January last year, we ended up losing maybe five games in a month or so. And so, but they were good losses for us because it taught us great life lessons and it brought the guys closer together. You know, they were able to talk out the things that they needed to learn from those losses. And when we had opportunity in the regional finals on the road, the crowd didn't faze them. They, we had a plan. And then as we made our run to the Final Four, you could start to see the confidence building. Because once you get to a certain point, you see the confidence building. And now it's a matter of, who's going to make the plays at the necessary time. And you need your best players to play really, really well or well enough to get the win. And it depends on who makes shots and who defends, appropriately.
See, Kendrick, Louisville is building confidence. They're learning how to lose so they can learn how to win.
They've gotten the losing part down.
Nothing. I get nothing there. Okay, all right, let's move on. I was trying. I was trying to see. I
You
was trying.
need players. You need players, though.
You need players, though. You definitely need players.
I mean, we may as well just delve into it since we're here.
Okay.
It is difficult. I mean, you start out 0-3 with all of them a 1-point losses.
They're all bad losses. Like you just.
I mean, to lose by 1 point every time. The last one, and because we were sitting here watching it, and in the arena they couldn't tell that Ellis's shot came after the buzzer, but watching it live on the broadcast, you could tell he waited too long to go to the basket, and the broadcaster kept bringing up how long it took him to foul on the possession before, and like, yeah, that was right, but that had nothing to do with that play, with him jogging the ball up the court with 7 seconds left.
Right. It's a hard. I'll be honest with you. That's a hard way to start the season, because, and this is a weird statement to make, but maybe you guys understand and appreciate what I'm saying. When I played, I always, if we were going to lose, blow me out, because that means you're better. If you're better, you're better. There's nothing wrong. I can't overcome better, right? When I'm losing inside of 10 to 15 points, that's me. That's me doing dumb stuff. That's me making a lot of mistakes. And I say me as a team. And when you're losing by 1 point, to me, those are torturous games, because you're like, oh, my God, what did we do? What did we miss? What play did we – right? You know what I'm saying? Those are hard games to reconcile. I don't know how you felt about that, Charlie, but for me, it was always hard to reconcile those games.
The game the other night against App State, I mean, they were getting blown out. They were down like 16 points in the first half. Part of what the problem was when your second best player continues to commit just boneheaded fouls. I mean, Jalen Withers, I love the kid, nice kid. He's a redshirt junior and still commits freshman in high school blunders on the court. Like, the basketball IQ is like, come on, man. Got
to move that forward. So,
but they desperately need a point guard. They've moved L. Ellis over to the 2. Although I think he's still starting at the 1, but he's moving him more over to the 2 and have Hersey Miller playing a little bit more point, because he's more of a distributor. He's not looking to go out there and score every time he has the ball, which is kind of what L's. But that's not even a knock on L, to be honest, because
it's not, because I get it, but yeah, it's just all right. So quickly, guys,
they got good bigs, but they don't know how to. They don't know how to throw the ball into the post, which is a huge problem.
Which is so weird to me, but that's a whole nother conversation. All right, so real quick, guys, on the men's side, who wins the ACC?
And I go with the defending Final Four representative.
Yeah, I mean,
in Carolina.
Yeah,
feels like it's Carolina's to lose. And then on the women's side, I mean, feels like it's, even though NC State has been the one to kind of do it, but I think this is the one where we're going to see Louisville. I think this is the year Louisville takes that next step. I think the pieces are in place now to kind of make a run, make a real substantive run.
The tough thing is, it's still South Carolina is still a super team, and so
they are. But I'm always reminded of the Baylor super team that came back, and everybody, they're better than last year, and they were. But you find ways to figure it out, and sometimes heart overrules talent. Every now and then, heart will overrule talent. But this time, Louisville has the talent and the heart, so it'll be interesting. Yeah, and they fixed that 4 part. So, any differences there, Charlie?
No, I mean, it's pretty much just teams that you can probably count on at this point.
Yeah. All right. Well, we'll run through our Week 11 results here quickly.
I don't think it'll be as wild as football has been this year.
No, football has been wild. No surprise here with Duke and Virginia Tech. Duke did listen, Duke, like we said all season, man, they're for real. They're real enough this year. This was a surprise. Wow. I was watching this going, what is going on? Are we in the Matrix? Like, why is Boston College even in this game? But
how is NC State still ranked?
That's a whole nother conversation because I don't get that either. I don't get that either, but maybe they just like, we don't have anybody else to rank. So we'll just stick with them. So North Carolina, again,
found a way.
They found a way. Listen, they're going to score.
I went out on that limb. I mean, it was tricky like we thought.
Yeah, they're going to score. They are going to score. They can't stop anybody, but they're going to score. Now, this was probably the shocker of the weekend because I just assumed Miami was reeling so bad they couldn't recover, but apparently that wasn't true.
The shocker of the weekend with Boston College, but I mean, this
was pretty shocking.
Miami's defense, though, has been playing well, minus the Florida State game.
And the Middle Tennessee game.
Yeah. So they've been keeping them in games.
It has, but I didn't. But I don't know. I guess Georgia Tech.
Part of it too. You just don't know what you're gonna get from Georgia Tech.
You don't know what you're gonna get from Georgia Tech. Another shocking. I'm not trying to. I'm just speaking. What is wrong with me today? Speaking strictly about football here. Slavis and Pitt. Wow. Although I think it was the defense that, significantly did most of this damage. But listen, 37 points by Pitt is a shocker to me.
Yeah.
I didn't think Pitt was capable of 37 points. And I think it is safe to say at this point that Syracuse
they are
who we thought they were. Wow.
They struggle.
And this was at home. Florida State decided to go to their house and do this. You're not supposed to go in there.
Blown out back-to-back games at home.
This was the equivalent of Rick James being on his couch and saying, blank your couch. So, ugly. Right. Get another couch, Syracuse. Okay, so Clemson. The demise of Clemson has been greatly exaggerated. But I will say this, in my opinion, U of L shot themselves in the foot a lot in this game.
I'm not one to go off on officials too much.
Oh, they were terrible.
The officiating in that game was god awful in the ACC.
Maybe one of the worst I've seen.
Officiating staff.
only game worse officiated worse this season was this past Monday night's game with the Eagles. Other than that, this was a horribly officiated game. So
Louisville had a second down run where, the face mask. I don't know how you missed that face mask. It was blatant, doesn't get called, and there's another play where the Clemson DB is literally hugging the U of L wide receiver right in front of the referee. Nothing is called.
Clemson got a lot of home cooking this past weekend. A lot.
Clemson made the plays. U of L couldn't get stops when they needed them. Malik got his game, his daily injury in a game that I've been complaining about for 3 years now, that he gets hurt every game. That one, even this one, was a lot for Malik, because Malik just tripped over his own feet and fell in and hurt
on his shoulder. Yeah, I gotta ask this question, and before I know we're about to do our picks, but I do have to ask this question to Charlie. Charlie, and we're trying to make light of a very tough situation, but it's the truth. Malik he typically finds an injury per game. How damaging is that to a potential draft pick, regardless of the position he's playing? Because at this point, I think it's safe to say that if Malik has any NFL prospect at all, it won't be as a quarterback. But now you're starting to wonder and go, man, I don't know if he's going to get anything other than an invite at this point, because he just has such a terrible health history.
I mean, we're always looking to try to compare him to someone. I'm not sure who fits that mold. Um, he's very similar in the sense of style of play as Lamar Jackson, but Lamar played. He didn't really get hurt that much in college, to my knowledge, and
Right.
they're very
Yeah.
similar in the way they they play the game. So I'm not sure. I mean, as far as the NFL is concerned, um, I'm not sure where his draft status stock is at this point. Um, but I could see him potentially moving to another spot and with his athletic ability and he'll bulk up and do whatever he needs to do to to get prepared and ready for whatever that spot is.
He's
But
got
His,
some
his
strength.
defense, I mean, Lamar is a legit 6'4" and probably what 225. Malik is barely 6'1". I think they have him listed at 6'2". He's closer to 6'1", 6 foot, and is a smaller frame guy than Lamar was.
Yeah. Well, I feel bad for him because the kid is athletic as all get out, and he's super fast, and he's got
And he's a
talent.
great kid. He's a
Yeah,
great kid. A
yeah,
great person.
he's got talent, but I think I don't know if he's not supposed to play for that NFL right now anyway, unless you're Zay Flowers. That's your only focus if you're Zay Flowers. Zay, focus on the draft, my man. But
Hey, they
Zay,
won this week.
they won
Zay
this past week. They won
and,
this past
and,
week.
and Zay went off.
And Zay went off. Zay is doing his job. He's doing his
Zay
job. He's
Zay
doing his
just said Zay just
Zay might be my favorite player in the conference.
He might be. He is.
Zay said, I just need a quarterback, baby. Just get somebody give me the ball.
Can somebody just
Keyshawn Johnson.
at this point he doesn't even care who it is. It's just like if somebody can just come off
Just
the sidelines.
anybody.
So anyway, we had a rough week last week, guys.
Yes, we did.
We had a rough week. A couple of 2 and 5s, 3 and 4 that was just based on purely on a guess. So I can't even take credit for the brag. But it is made for a very fun season of predictions. And again, if you're using betonline.ag to bet with us, you are killing the game. You're getting the big turkey this year because things have worked out very, very well.
Cajun turkey from Popeyes.
Right, you can go get that Cajun turkey from Popeyes. Okay, so as we get into week 12 and week 13 predictions, because as we said, we won't be here. Let's start with week 12 predictions. We got Miami and Clemson. Charlie, let's start with you. Where you going?
Well, I'm going with Clemson. I'm not going against them at home anymore.
We've learned our lesson, Charlie.
Right. We learned our lesson last week.
Yeah.
I think that I was gonna say that feels like a clean sweep on that one.
Yeah.
Your Seminoles.
Going to Seminoles.
As if we didn't know.
I'm stunned by that one.
As if we didn't know. Again, I think we got probably a clean sweep there.
Yeah.
I don't know.
I think I'm going Liberty.
I was gonna say, didn't Liberty take an L last week? I think they took an L last week. They may be kind of hostile. They may take it out on Virginia Tech.
I'm sure that's a little bit of a rivalry game for Liberty. And so yeah.
You going Liberty, Kendrick?
Yep.
Okay. Charlie?
I'm gonna go with Virginia Tech. Why? I have no clue, but
that was a very, very honest answer.
Very lukewarm answer there.
I'm guessing here, hoping that they can play well.
I'm going to say Liberty takes out all their frustrations on Virginia Tech. So there you go. What about Duke and Pitt? You got to go Duke here, don't you? But it scares me because
Pitt had a big game last week on the road. They're back at home. That's a tough one.
I'm gonna go with Pitt.
Okay.
I don't know why. I'm not believing in slowest, but I think I'm just going to go with Pitt because they're playing at home. Duke is playing really, really well. I don't know why I'm going against Duke because they've been They've been winning all year.
All
For the
year.
most part.
It's not too late to change your pick, Charlie.
Hmm.
I'm going Duke.
I'm going.
By the
Duke.
way, the role of
I think
Sam Howell this year will be played by Sloppis.
Okay, I'm going with Duke too.
Okay. He talked himself out of it.
so of
Is
course,
that a
Pitt's
clean?
gonna win.
Is that a clean sweep on Duke?
Yeah.
All right.
Pitt's
Boston
gonna
College
win.
and Notre Dame. I think Notre Dame. Man,
I think they figured it out at Notre Dame.
yeah, the rivalry. This won't look as good. It looks better historically than it will look this weekend.
Correct.
NC State and Louisville.
I'm going with Louisville. NC State, they have struggles on offense. They're going to be inconsistent because they're playing a true freshman quarterback who has his moments, and then all of a sudden, you know, you can't score. And NC State's defense they're good, but I mean, they were solid last week too. I mean, they only gave up 21 points.
Yeah. I think Louisville was looking at this as an opportunity to tune up and finish the season strong. They would love to knock off NC State, another ranked team, which is
How's
weird.
NC State ranked?
I have no idea.
have no
I
idea.
honestly do not know how this is happening. But
Are they still? Are they
Yeah.
still 16 in the new poll?
I believe so. I think this is the current ranking. So it's
I thought 21st.
I think they're 21st in the college football ranking thing. So but still, that's still high. It's way too high.
They
But-
shouldn't be.
It's way too high. But I'm going Louisville as well. Kendrick, you
Yeah, they got 24th on ESPN in the AP.
okay?
I'm
24
going,
now. Okay.
I'm going with U of L just because the defense has been playing so well, and NC State, like Charlie said, as a freshman quarterback, there's going to be a lot of pressure coming at him. It's senior night for U of L, and so I'll go with the Cards.
All right. Is Malik playing or no?
Who knows?
Okay. All right. I think they should-
Goldman's probably going to get in regardless at some point anyway.
Right. As we know, this game was officially canceled, so there will be no Coastal and Virginia this week. Georgia Tech and North Carolina. North Carolina's going to win, but Georgia Tech's going to put up points to make it look like they can win.
North Carolina's defense is starting to play a little bit better. I mean, they gave up 34 points. Right,
Hilarious. Hilarious.
I'm going with Petey Pablo in this one.
You going to raise throw your shirt on, throw it at a helicopter. Okay. I guess we all going UNC on that one. I am completely torn at our final game this week. I don't know. I got to go Wake Forest because Syracuse is falling apart.
Yeah, I'm going Wake Forest. They played much better last week at home.
Yeah, I'll go Wake Forest, even though it seems like there's something going on with the quarterback because apparently he hadn't talked to the media in like a month.
Damn, in his feelings a little bit. All right. Since we won't be here week 13, we're going to go ahead and make our picks for rivalry week. And we're coming out hot, North Carolina State, North Carolina. What are we doing?
I'm going North Carolina.
Yeah, I think this is
Yeah, I'll go with Carolina.
North Carolina State doesn't have the pointage. They don't have the pointage hang in this game. They don't have the pointage. Florida State. I gotta ride with Charlie Seminoles.
Yeah,
Seminoles at home.
Yeah, it's at home. Now this will feel like a 1990s game.
no, it won't. Those 1990s games were competitive.
They'll be competitive.
I
Florida's
was
not
gonna say
playing bad.
Florida will show up for this one.
I mean,
Only just to prove a point. Now they'll get blown out eventually, but they'll, I feel like this is just child abuse at this point.
Clemson, South Carolina. Oh,
No,
Georgia.
Georgia
Tech.
Tech is a bit of
Oh, yeah.
child abuse. I think they should have a running clock in this one, so that Georgia Tech doesn't have to take 3 hours of a beating. Just let's get this game down to about an hour and a half, and whatever Georgia ends up with, they end up with. So, South Carolina, Clemson. Any possible chances of an upset here?
No.
No, I don't think so. I mean, South Carolina looked good early in the season, but they've kind of gone back to being South Carolina. So, nah.
Rivalry week not shaping up to be very dramatic at all, ladies and gentlemen. What about Syracuse, Boston College? Is
That's a
I
tough one.
picked Syracuse if they weren't on the road, but now I'm thinking Boston College might win this one.
Yeah, I think Boston College will win if Zay Flowers, this is senior night, has to be. So he has to play. So I see Boston College winning. I like the quarterback they have in there now.
Yeah, he's better. He's actually better. I think that's one of the reasons why they look a little bit more decent. He's pretty good. I'm not sure. Again, I'm not sure why they didn't start him from the beginning, but whatever. You going Boston College, or you trusting Syracuse in this one?
I'm
I'm
going.
Oh,
I'm going with our guy Zay Flowers. I'm going Boston College.
All right. Wake Forest and Duke. Is this a rivalry?
I mean, they're both in North Carolina.
In this game, are they required to do an academic bowl prior to the game? It's
I'm
gonna be
gonna go with Duke.
I would say it's gonna be a blowout. Duke's gonna destroy them.
I don't know about a blowout, but
I think Duke wins. Yeah, I don't think it'll be a blowout.
I'm predicting blowout. I'm predicting pure on blowout. Pitt and Miami.
I'm gonna go with Miami because their defense is strong, and now they've decided on a quarterback. A kid from Valdosta, number 11, played against us a lot, and I don't know if he can pass it as well right now, but he can definitely run it. And so they're finding ways to get him more involved, and their defense is still solid. And Slovis is on the road, so I'm going with Miami.
Yeah, Slovis is on the road.
I'll go with Charlie on that one. I'll go with Miami.
All right. Not 100% sure what's going to happen here. If this game gets played, what is your prediction? I'm going to go with UVA. If they decide to play, I'm going to say those kids find the inspiration and pull out a victory.
Agreed.
Well, I'm going with Virginia Tech. I understand the sentiment part.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
But there comes a time where, yes, they would probably bond together, but you never know. So
Yeah,
I'm just going with the opposite.
I'd be
Virginia
surprised
Tech.
if that game played, to be honest.
I honestly don't think it's going to get played either. I agree with you on that, Kendrick. And then the last game of rivalry week is, of course, Louisville versus Kentucky. And I'll be honest with you, when the season started, I was thinking Kentucky's going to beat Louisville like a drum, and it won't even be close. But since the season started, Kentucky seems to be reeling. And number one pick in the draft, according to Mel Kiper, Will Levis is playing terrible. So, now it's very similar to that old State Farm commercial where the reporter walks in and asks the player, whose fault is that, that playing is bad, and the player says, well, listen, the great ones start with themselves. And since I know that's not the problem, because Will doesn't seem to think it's his problem. I think everybody or the people around Will are saying it's the offensive line, it's the running game, it's this, that, and the other. The games I've watched, it's Will Levis. But again, I digress. So with that being said, I'm picking Louisville because I think Will Levis is the problem.
I mean, I don't think Will's necessarily the problem. I think he's injured. He's more injured than they're letting. He's got so, and he can't run. with that turf toe. If he can't run with that offensive line, it makes it very difficult. And so I don't know, because the last couple of years they've beaten Louisville so bad. The last couple of years.
That's true. That's very true. But to that same point, one of the reasons why they looked so dominant last year is because Louisville did not anticipate that he could run. And since he can't run now,
I hope they don't go in there thinking he can't run again, because I would still be prepared for him running. I don't know how they last year, running all season last year, which made no sense.
Right.
So I wouldn't plan on him being stagnant. And also, it's you got to wonder how they're going to come out of this Georgia game, because Kentucky plays Georgia this week.
Ooh.
And so you got to wonder how they're going to come out of that health wise.
Yeah. There's concern.
Yeah, I think I'm gonna go with Louisville just because I think Kentucky's gonna be beat up pretty bad after this Georgia game, because Georgia is so physical. So I'm gonna go with U of L, but it's not a confident pick at all.
Okay.
So I'm going with Louisville as well. So is it possible that the ACC could beat all the SEC teams that week?
No, because Georgia Tech has to play Georgia.
Oh, that's right.
Right. Yeah. There's gonna be one for sure we're gonna lose. But the rest are very possible. But that Georgia Tech, that they shouldn't even show that on TV. I don't think you should be allowed to show crimes on TV. In my opinion. All right, Charlie, we know you got to get out of here, but before you leave, brother, give us your shout outs, man. You can't bounce without a good shout out. I know one of them shout outs got to be to my guy Bubba.
I think we need a Bubba update every week.
Every week.
They have a game tomorrow, but Bubba had 36 the other night.
Out of
they won 50 to 46, and he hit the 3-pointer as you saw. He hit the 3-pointer to tie the game up to go to overtime, and then in overtime, I'm not sure what they did, but they ended up winning. So he's been special, but he's just a great kid that plays the right way.
Yeah.
His teammates aren't on the same level as he is, but he makes a point to make the game easy for them. He passes them the ball, and he does everything he needs to help his team win. I think they may have lost one game so far.
I've been telling the Bubba story to as many people as listen, because I think it's a phenomenal story. Because what makes the story so amazing is that he's not a selfish player. He's not out there gunning. He's just on a team that's not great without him. He's Luka Doncic right now.
Steph Curry.
He's Steph Curry right now. His team around him. He can't show up, but boy, he looks great. So anyway, I shout out to Bubba always. That's our weekly Bubba update. We may start a banner just for that weekly Bubba update. Okay, any other shout outs before you go?
Ladies Seminole basketball for whooping up on them Gators last night. I think it was 92 to 77, something like that. So
still satisfying, huh? Every time you beat Florida, it's still as satisfying today as it's always been.
100. Hopefully the men can follow suit.
Charlie, well, we know you got to go. You enjoy your vacation, brother. Have a wonderful time. Happy Thanksgiving to you and the fam bam, man.
All right, you guys as well.
All right, brother.
Yeah, happy Thanksgiving.
Have a good one. Happy Thanksgiving.
All right.
Don't eat too much turkey.
No, I'm definitely not doing that. All right, brother.
All right.
That was Charlie Ward, y'all, doing this thing. It's amazing to me that after all these years, a Florida and a Miami victory is still as exciting today.
It resonates so much.
That's fantastic. That is fantastic. All right, Kendrick, who you shouting out, brother?
I'm going to shout out my guys at Christian Academy of Louisville football. I'm be honest, my cousin's on the coaching staff, so I got to root for them. So
there you go.
They are undefeated. Not only are they undefeated heading into their second round of the playoffs, or the third round, it might be third round. I get them all confused. Every one of their games has gone to a running clock.
Oh, wow. They're that good. Wow. They're that good.
Their closest game was 49-14.
Oh, wow.
So, but the crazy thing, so they're playing Paducah Tillman on Friday. Paducah Tillman upset them in the playoffs last year.
Ooh.
And Christian Academy's coach, who, of course, used to be U of L quarterback Hunter Cantwell, he is a grad of Paducah Tillman.
Oh, wow. Wow. Can't make this stuff up. This is why we watch sports right here.
Right. So
wow.
I went out there yesterday. Their quarterback, Cole Hodge, is a great kid. He's a kid that I talk to off camera. And so I talked to him for a long time. They're a fun bunch of kids to be around. And they're undefeated, steamrolled everybody they played. So shout out to them, and hopefully they can keep it going.
That's exciting stuff, man. That's really, really exciting stuff. I'm shouting out the family. They have been amazing this week through some fantastic transitional stuff that's going on behind the scenes. Hopefully, we're hoping from a timing perspective, for those of you who are big fans of not just this show, but everything we're doing here, that we're going to have some massive announcements coming out of the vacation. So we're hoping with Beyond Hope, hopefully it happens exactly the way we're planning for it to happen. But it's any result, man, I don't know if it's the way I made my coffee this morning, but I am struggling. But anyway, I didn't have my regular cream, and I think that's making the difference, because that cream kind of settles me down, and now I'm stumbling all over the place today. But anyway, but shout out to the family for holding me down the way that they have. And when I say family, I don't just mean my wife and my daughters, who have definitely held me down, but you, Charlie, the whole Noise Media family has just held it down. So as I've been in and out of meetings all the last couple of weeks, but really, really solid, fun stuff. And hopefully, like I said, we'll have some amazing announcements coming up here soon. So shout out to all of you. And this is a much needed vacation for all of us. So there you go. And then my last shout out is a weird one, but it's for me. We shout out who we want. I'm shouting out one of my favorite rap artists, Toby Wigway, who is that's right, Toby Wigway, who has just gotten a Grammy nomination for Best New Artist. I'm so excited because he's he's it's long. I think it's long overdue because he's been out longer than a minute. So he's technically not really a new artist. He's on like his 5th album, but that's fine, you know. But still, I'm excited for him and he and his family and his lovely wife. And if you know his story, then you know it's a really, really amazing journey he's been on. Not signed to a major label. He's gone the Chance the Rapper route, and it's working out very, very well for him. So anyway, shout out to him. So that's it. That's all we got. I'm going to see the movie tomorrow.
On that note,
yeah.
I have 2 more shout outs. One, I was going to keep to myself, but I think I can go ahead and shout him out. Okay. First off, since you're on the music note, I got to shout out my guy, Jack Harlow. He got 3
nominations.
3 Grammy nominations, so shout out to him.
First Class, Churchill Downs, and I think Album of the Year, right?
Album of the Year, yeah.
So, yeah.
Shout out to him. Very proud of him. And then shout out.
That's your bestie, right? That's your bestie.
It's a person that I know. And so,
I won't even double flex you for that. Go ahead.
and then shout out to soon to be former sports director Kent Taylor.
Yes.
Wave 3 sports director. He is leaving the station. He's much more than a co-worker to me. He's family. He's a brother to me. Yeah. And so it'd be weird not working with him, but he's moving on for what's best for him. Super happy for him. Super excited for him. Can't wait to see what the next chapter holds for him. But he's always going to be family, so we're always going to be in touch. So shout out to Kent.
Absolute class act. When I got into Louisville journalism, Kent was one of the guys that made me feel special, made me feel seen, made me feel a part of the club. and I've always appreciated him for that. So he's always be special to me as well. He's a good dude. He's exactly what he appears to be on and off the camera. So I'm always going to be a fan. Yeah, always going to be a big fan. So that is a great shout out, sir, and that gives us a great place to end the show. And so we hope you guys have enjoyed it. Again, we will not be here next week, so you got to figure out what you're going to do Thursday morning. It's Thursday morning, it's Thanksgiving. Go eat turkey or something. Go do something with your family.
I'll be fixing a brisket.
I would love a brisket, but see, we're actually going to my aunt's house. So I haven't gone to my aunt's house for Thanksgiving. Who she lays out an insane spread. So this is going to be the first Thanksgiving in the last probably 10 years that I haven't fixed. I haven't done any cooking. I'm not doing any cooking.
So we're hosting Thanksgiving for the first time. So
the roles have reversed. Look at that. Look at that. All right. So there you go. So it'll be but it's gonna be a fun Thanksgiving. Nonetheless, and I hope you guys enjoy your Thanksgiving. Remember, it is Thanksgiving. Don't rush past Thanksgiving to get to Christmas. Enjoy Thanksgiving. We got a lot to be thankful for in this country. So there you go. All right. Well, listen, that guy that left, that was Charlie Ward. He's our Heisman Trophy winner and our only state championship basketball coach, and we love him to death. And national championship winner. I forget that national championship thing. And then, of course, that is the incomparable Hall of Famer Kendrick Haskins. I'm Lloyd Spence. This is Believe in the ACC. We'll see you in 2 weeks.
You've been listening to Believe in the ACC with Charlie Ward, Lloyd Spence, and Kendrick Haskins. Please like, follow, subscribe, and share from the Noisemakers page on Facebook and on YouTube. And you can also listen to us on Spotify, Apple Music, iTunes, and wherever podcasts can be heard. And join us next time on Believe